Okay guys, let's go ahead and go over our main passage and edit our notes. Okay, here we go.
I think that we must admit that gambling is not simply a harmless diversion. It has major negative consequences that must be controlled. Of course, many people enjoy going to casinos and gambling, and can do so responsibly. And those who operate casinos generally abide by the relevant laws.
Okay, so from what we've heard so far, what do people enjoy doing, Sharon?
Gambling.
Very good. And what about casino operators, Megan?
They abide by laws.
Very good. Okay. Now, are these good things or bad things, Megan?
They're good things.
Good. So based on the information we've heard so far, what is the topic, Sharon?
Gambling.
Good. And why is this the topic?
Because it was repeated.
Very good. Let's go ahead and continue listening.
But there are reasons.
Okay, so what's that verbal cue that we just heard? Megan?
But.
Very good. And what type of verbal cue is this?
Contrast.
Okay, so before we heard about good things regarding gambling, so what should we listen for next, Sharon?
The bad things.
Very good. So let's go ahead and listen for these bad things.
That gambling has always been subject to state regulation and considered at least somewhat unsavory.
Okay, so what were the bad things, Megan?
Reasons why they are subject to state regulation, and also that they're unsavory.
Very good. Okay. And what type of detail is this, Sharon?
Main idea.
Good. So here's our main idea. Okay. And why is this the main idea?
It helps us predict the passage.
Okay, good. So what do you think our major details will be about, Sharon?
Reasons why gambling is bad.
Good. And what about our pattern of organization, Megan?
Probably a list.
Good. And why do you say list?
Because of the word reasons.
Very good. So let's go ahead and continue listening.
For one,
Okay, so what's that verbal cue that we just heard, Sharon?
For one,
Good. And what type of verbal cue is this?
a list.
Good. So what should we listen for next?
Our first major detail.
Very good. Let's go ahead and listen for that.
gambling addiction is as real as alcoholism and can have disastrous social consequences.
Okay. So what is our first major detail, Megan?
Gambling is as real as alcoholism and has disastrous social consequences.
Very good. Okay. And why is this our first major detail?
Because it's a reason why gambling is bad.
Very good. Let's go ahead and continue listening.
Since the 1980s, psychologists and other researchers have firmly established that compulsive gambling is a pathological condition.
So what do psychologists say, Sharon?
That it's a pathological condition.
Good. Now this word, pathological, is that an easy or hard word, Sharon?
Hard.
Good, so what do you think that they might do next?
Explain it.
Good, so let's go ahead and continue listening.
Those who suffer from this condition feel an almost uncontrollable impulse to bet, and often end up gambling away far more than they can afford to lose. This is obviously bad, as compulsive gamblers bring financial ruin on their families, and sometimes commit crimes to acquire more money for wagering.
So, how do they feel, Megan?
That they have an uncontrollable impulse to bet.
Good. Okay. And why is this bad, Sharon?
Because it brings financial ruin to their families, and also they commit crimes.
Very good. Okay, so let's go ahead and continue listening.
Oh, is there a question?
Okay. So what type of statement did we just hear, Megan?
A question.
Question. Okay, and what was the question?